me ask you something. When was the last time you thought to yourself, just in normal walking around, hey, I need a glass of water right now? Huh? How often? No? Drawing a blank, right? Well, you're in good company. It turns out for us seniors, us old guys like me, the alarm in your brain that's supposed to remind us that we're thirsty and that we should drink has gotten unreliable and maybe just totally stopped working altogether. And by the time it does, we can be really dehydrated to the point where we're having side effects like Alzheimer's style side effects. Did you know about this? And, forgetfulness and sleepy and listless. I didn't know this either. I just started looking into it. So what I'm going to get into is, what is it doing to our bodies? Why is it happening? Ways we can fix it, like foods that give us a lot of hydration. You can think of a lot right off the top, right? Watermelon. Okay, anyway. And ways to make our water more palatable instead of drinking a whole bunch of the sugary drinks that aren't good for you. The minute you drink them, you're like, oh God, this is like a spoonful of sugar. So, but you want to concentrate on hydration, not the sugar. So you want to get plenty of water. So not that much water. I mean, wait a second, that's too much hydration. No! Okay, well, who am I and why would you want to listen to an old geezer like me? Well, when I was 35, I was quite a bit of an addict. Did not take care of myself. Woke up in the hospital Christmas Day with a triple bypass surgery. I'd already had it. I didn't even know. Just went to the hospital, wasn't feeling well. Next thing I know, I woke up and I had the surgery. The doctors told me my arteries were so bad that I had maybe 5 or 10 years. Because when your arteries are clogged, and they were like porcelain, they tried to put in a stent, and he said my arteries basically just cracked like they were porcelain or glass. When the arteries that they worked on were that clogged and that fragile, the rest of your body is too. Right? The other arteries in your heart, in your brain, in your legs, in your arms. And they basically said, you're not going to last much longer. Your arteries are so bad. What they did was kind of like they fixed a couple cylinders on an engine that's got 500,000 miles. You don't have long. So I straightened myself up after that. Actually, right afterwards, went right back to the cocaine again. Then I straightened myself out and exercised, watched what I ate. Now I'm 66. Somehow I made it. Whether you should listen to me or not, I don't know. But I've got maybe some tips to help you along and maybe live longer. Hopefully you don't have problems like I had and treated your body so badly that I did. But anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of who I am and why nutrition and trying to take care of yourself is so important to me. Anyway, thanks for watching. Okay, I know. It's only water. That's all I got for you is water. I'm not going to sell you a miracle cure or some superfood or something you have to order online. Just water. Okay, before you switch over to the next video, hear me out for a second now, because this really surprised me when I found this out, and I think it'll surprise you too. It turns out that like seniors like us, like old guys like me, staying properly hydrated is one of the most important things we can do for our health, and most of us just aren't doing it. It's not because we're dumb or we're stupid, but the thirst receptors are starting to get numb, and we don't notice that we're thirsty until it's already too late. You may already be feeling other symptoms like grogginess and the like. So today I'm going to talk about what happens inside of our body and what it does to us, and most importantly, what some of the simple fixes are. But I mean, they're surprisingly simple, and it's really good if you incorporate them into your lives. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, let's get down to the meat and bones of the damn thing. What's actually going on inside of us? Because once we understand it, it all starts to make a lot of sense. Our bodies have two systems designed to protect us from dehydration, and I hate to tell you, but one of them is breaking down as we get older, and both of them start to slack off on the job. I don't know anything about slacking off. First is our thirst response. Our thirst receptors, they're deep inside of our brain. Yes, everybody's brain, even mine, I'm sorry to say. They're called osmoceptors. And the whole purpose of those is to sense whether we're running low on fluids and send a signal to us to say, hey, it's time to drink, man. But the problem is, as we get older, those cells get less sensitive. They start to get numb, so they really don't work very well. And by the time your body tells you that, hey, maybe it's time to get a glass of water, you're actually already clinically dehydrated. And the systems are basically just numb now and gone on snooze. The second is our kidneys. Now, our kidneys are a remarkable organ, or organs. There's two of them. But after the age of 40, their filtering capacity declines 1% every year. By the time we're 80, they might be working at half the capacity they had in our 30s. And they become less efficient at concentrating urine, which means we're losing more fluids when we're just sitting around doing nothing, watching reruns of MASH. On top of all that, we naturally lose muscle mass. Our muscle holds water. So our total body water drops 10 to 15% compared to when we were younger. Our bodies are essentially running a smaller tank with a bigger leak and a broken fuel gauge. Fun, right? What actually happens when we get dehydrated? Let me walk you through it because the progression is faster than most people expect and it's worth knowing. Okay, at the mild stage, just 1 or 2% fluid loss. We may feel tired, get a headache, have dry mouth, and our brain starts to slow down a bit. Our urine gets darker and more concentrated. Most of us would chalk this up to having a rough day and maybe, I need a nap. But we'd never think, oh God, I need a glass of water. That could fix all of it. Okay, at a moderate stage, 3 to 5%, things get more serious. We can become more confused and disoriented. Our fall risk may significantly go up. Never heard of that. Muscle weakness kicks in, cramps start, urinary tract infections may become more likely. That does not sound like a fun afternoon. I don't want any of that. Okay, at a severe stage, 6 to 8%, we're talking rapid heartbeat, low blood pressure, kidney stress, and potential delirium. At this point, we're looking at a hospital visit. How about no? At critical levels, 10% or more, it's become a genuine life-threatening emergency. The thing that gets me about this whole thing is how quickly mild becomes moderate, becomes severe. For us seniors, like me, with our smaller reserves, that window is narrower than it is for younger people, which is exactly why we can't wait till we feel thirsty to drink something. Dehydration can actually look remarkably like dementia, or maybe a sudden worsening of cognitive decline. It impairs our balance and reaction time, which raises our fall risk. Break a hip, anybody? That can make us irritable and unfocused and just kind of generally out of sorts. And here's the part I want you to hear. Dehydration-induced confusion is often completely reversible. Just drink more fluids and these symptoms may just clear up. So the next time you're feeling a little foggy, maybe confused, or just not yourself, before assuming the worst, just try having a glass of water. Don't run to the emergency room or get out the fish oil tablets. Just have a glass of water and see what happens. It's a cheap fix.
That's much better.
Okay, we need to recognize the warning signs in ourselves because our thirst alarm is not reliable. We have to become our own detectives. The good news is the clues are not hard to spot once you know what you're looking for, of course. Okay, the physical signs. Is your urine dark yellow or almost amber? Dude, that is a classic sign. Dry mouth, chapped lips, dry eyes, they're sunken in maybe. Those are also signs. Feeling like your heart is racing, even when you're just sitting still. Dude, that's worth noting. That could be dehydration. Mental or mood signs. Suddenly you have brain fog or confusions that come out of nowhere. Feeling unusually irritated or agitated could be one sign, more than you would normally feel by watching the news or the stuff that's going on in your day. Having trouble concentrating or following a conversation, feeling dizzy or weak when you stand up. Behavioral signs. Not feeling hungry, that's one. Feeling unusually lethargic or wanting to just sit and not move, that could be a sign. Noticing you haven't needed to use the bathroom in an unusually long time, yeah, that could be a sign. Noticing one of these independently does not necessarily mean you're dehydrated. But if you notice a few of them together, especially if they came on suddenly, your first thing is to drink some water and see if it goes away. Don't call the doctor right away. But if it doesn't go away, maybe you need to call your doctor. Keep it simple. Check the color of your urine. If it's darker than you would expect it to be, drink some water. It's an easy test and it's easily noticeable. You don't need to be a specialist. Okay, prevention number 1. It's called habit stacking, which is just a fancy term for piggybacking a new habit onto something that you're already doing every day. Like in the morning, when you wake up, drink a full glass of water before you do anything else, even before you pour your cup of coffee. It replenishes the water that you lost during the night. Then, when you take your morning medications, maybe a little later in the morning, drink a full glass of water, not just a shot glass. You're already taking the pills. Just remind yourself, drink a full glass of water. Okay, in the midday, have a big beverage, a big glass of water, or maybe some broth with lunch. Maybe have the broth be lunch, like some soup. And after lunch, like if you're going to kick back after you're busy in the morning and you sit down, watch TV, make sure you get a big fat glass of water and maybe a really great hydrating snack like yogurt or fruit, and maybe put some flavoring in your water, which we're going to talk about. Okay, in the evening, a beverage with dinner, of course, a big glass of water. And when you take your bedtime medications, another big glass of water to end your day. That's it. You built a complete hydration routine on top of stuff you're already doing, right? No alarms on your phone needed, no clipboard, no calendar. You don't have your friend call you every hour and a half. Done consistently, this is one of the most useful targets to get 6 to 8 glasses of water without having to even think about it. Okay, here's something you may not realize. We don't have to get all of our daily fluids by drinking fluids or water. Food counts also, and it can be quite significant. High water content foods can actually contribute, 20 to 30% of our daily fluid intake, and that can make a lot of difference. Cucumber, celery, lettuce, they are 95 to 96% water. Toss them in a salad, eat them as a snack, throw them in some soup, maybe in a smoothie. They're quietly hydrating us without even thinking about it. Oh God, and there's like stuff like watermelon and cantaloupe. Dude, those are 90 to 92% water, and they're so good. Sweet and refreshing, and especially wonderful when it's hot, like now. Honestly, a bowl of watermelon, or a regular melon, it's practically a glass of water with tons of flavor. I just recently got a big bag of cherries. They had them on sale at my local store. Oh my God, they're so delicious, and they contain tons of water. Okay, soups and broths are like 92 to 95% water, and they come with electrolytes, some vegetables, maybe a little meat and protein. Warm bowl of soup on a winter day is just amazing. You get hydration and all the other goodies you need during the day. Yogurt, milk, smoothies clock in at about 80 to 88% water, and they bring protein, calcium, and a flurry of vitamins and minerals. So if drinking glass after glass of plain water sounds like a chore or really boring, good news. We can eat our way to better hydration. And that's a sentence I never thought I would medically be legitimate to say to you. But here we are. Okay, as we talked about before, we're going to try to make fluids more appealing. Because let's be honest, plain water can be just boring as hell. It's not very exciting. And especially if you're trying to wean from sugary drinks, bottled drinks, to just drinking water, and you really should do that. We need to make the water taste a little bit better, right? We need to make hydration actually as enjoyable as we can. So let's try infusing our water. It's a total game changer. Drop some lemon slices, cucumber, mint, a few strawberries. How about a few of those cherries I was talking about I just got on sale? What a great idea. It's, not really fancy, but it can add 0 sugar, maybe a little bit, and a little bit of vitamins, but can make the water taste so much better. So we have herbal teas, decaffeinated teas, even with a little bit of caffeine if you can tolerate it. They totally count to our fluid intake, and they're wonderfully tasty sometimes, and they're great on colder months. There's chamomile, peppermint. Dude, there's hundreds of different flavors. And you can throw in a little bit of orange, a little bit of those cherries, a little cucumber into the tea and make it just that much better, right? Okay, there are low sugar electrolyte drinks. They're particularly useful when you've been ill or maybe been out in the heat, been exercising, or if you just don't think you've been drinking enough. They help restore sodium and potassium alongside the fluid, which matter more than most people realize. Keep them down to a low roar, then. We gotta watch the sugar, guys. Okay, what about milk and diluted fruit juices? They are also perfectly valid hydration options. They're more appealing than plain water, and for many of us, they add nutritional value on top of the hydration. Okay, the bottom line. Find what you actually enjoy and drink that. The best hydration strategy is one that you will follow every day and you will continue to do. Please give yourself permission to make it pleasurable. That will make you do it more often. Okay, the key takeaways from this video. Let's wrap it up with the things I hope we all take home today. 1, our thirst signal cannot be trusted. It's betraying our body, but now we know it. I've told you about it, so we can work around it. Scheduled, routine-based drinking replaces that signal that's not working, right? Habit stacking, they call it. Dehydration could look like a lot of other things. We talked about this, right? Brain fog, confusion, moodiness, fatigues, maybe even falls. These aren't always just, I'm getting older. They may be a signal that we just need to drink a glass of water. It's worth having a glass of water before running to your doctor. 3, the strategies are genuinely simple. As we talked about, habit stacking, hydrating foods that can be so delicious, and making our drinks more enjoyable. None of these require a big sacrifice or any suffering. They're really just building them into our lives and making sure we do them every day. Okay, let's talk about urine. Ew, let's not. Yes, let's talk about urine. Check it every day. Pale urine is our best daily check-in. No apps, no gadgets, no runs to the hospital or calls to your doctor. Just a quick glance. Pale yellow, we're doing great. Dark yellow, time to drink more water. Okay, we've all made it into our 60s by taking care of ourselves. All right, maybe not that well, but at least we tried. This is just one more way to do it. Make sure you drink a lot of water. Look at your urine. Incorporate it into your lives. Eat more fruit instead of crackers and chips and dry stuff. You kind of know how to do that. Do some more research yourself. Look it up on the internet. Maybe you can find other ways to hydrate yourself without spending a whole lot of money. Stop eating cookies and crackers and chips. Pick up some grapes or some watermelon or some yogurt if you like yogurt. I personally don't like it. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. Aloha from beautiful Maui, Hawaii. And put some stuff in the chat if you want to talk about some stuff. Maybe bring up some other subjects. And share with the audience what you do to stay hydrated. Anyway, thanks, guys.